first chapter, that is your introduction. What is this hydrology, what is this hydrological cycle, what are the different terms, and how these different terms can be useful for our estimation of rainfall and the stream flow measurement. Okay, so in the introduction I have mentioned the definition of hydrology. Okay, so in your interview point of view as well as your mains examination, you are sometimes required to write about the hydrological cycle, explain brief about the hydrological cycle and the various terms involved in it. Okay, so I have taken a brief about the hydrology in our introduction topic. The hydrology is the science that deals with the occurrence, circulation and the distribution of water on the earth and the earth atmosphere. So hydrology is basically the science of occurrence, movement as well as the distribution of whatever be the quantity of water available on the earth's surface, as well as the water which is converting from the one phase to another or in the transition state. Okay, so this is basically the science of occurrence, distribution and the circulation of water in the different form, because the total quantity of water remains more or less the same, but just this form of the water in which it is available in our earth system, in our earth atmosphere, this form keeps on changing or keeps on converting from one phase to another phase. Okay, so the hydrology is the science of occurrence, distribution and the circulation of this distribution of water on the surface of earth as well as in the earth atmosphere. Okay, now we are going to discuss very important topic, that is the hydrological cycle. Okay, so we all are very much aware of this hydrological cycle. You might have studied this hydrological cycle in your class 7, class 8 science chapter. Okay, so where we taught how this cloud formation take place and how this rain formation take place. After coming to the surface of earth, the rainwater can go in a many different form. It can either flow over the surface or it can either go under the ground. Okay, so all these things ultimately is the running water join the small drain. The small drain will lead to the large river stream, then the large river stream ultimately joins our ocean or the seas, and in this way the water which comes from the cloud in the form of precipitation ultimately joins our seawater, and again in our seawater, due to the action of solar radiation, this evaporation phenomena takes place, and due to this evaporation phenomena my water again changes back from the liquid state to the vapor state. Then in our atmosphere again this cloud formation take place, and again with the passage of time and according to the climatic condition, this precipitation again takes place at the various corners of the country, and again this water vapor in the form of cloud again come back to the earth's surface in the form of precipitation, and this cycle go on repeating in the same sequence. Okay, so in this way this hydrological cycle is nothing but the journey of water, in the various form, how it goes from the earth's surface to the cloud formation, then again from the cloud formation it again come back to your earth surface, and this cycle goes on repeating, and this is all about the hydrological cycle. Okay, so here I have drawn a brief about the hydrological cycle. So in our diagram I have discussed that suppose this is your cloud. Okay, so under the cooling condition, under the environmental condition, when there is low pressure formation or when there is condition which is suitable for the precipitation or the cooling, large scale mass cooling take place in our atmosphere, then this cloud bring this precipitation, and this precipitation in our countries mostly it is in the form of rain, but in the other countries it can be in the form of hailstorms, it can be in the form of snowfall, it can be in the form of drizzle, but in India most of the precipitation that we receive is mostly in the form of rain droplet. Okay, so this precipitation then it come back to the surface of earth, and here you can see that this is what the general surface that I have drawn, and this coming precipitation on striking the ground surface, it has two options. Either it can flow over the surface, which is known as your surface runoff, this, overflowing water over the this overflowing water over the earth crust is known as your surface runoff. And the second option for this falling water is to go under the ground, and this process of the water going under the ground is known as your infiltration. Okay, so the falling water has two options: either it can flow over the surface, which is known as your surface runoff, and the second option is that the falling water can either go inside the soil with the help of pores. The pores will act as your path for the water to flow under the ground, and this process is known as your infiltration. Okay, so this water has two options. Now here you can see that this surface water will ultimately, after flowing over the surface, will join a small drain, or depending on the location it can also join the direct main stream large water body. Okay, so here after it flowing over the water surface, it joined this water body. This is large water body. Okay, now this underground flowing water, it has two options: either it can go deep under the ground, or it can go at a shallow depth below the ground and ultimately follow the general profile of the terrain. And this downward ground motion of ultimately joining the main river streams, this water flowing under the ground will ultimately join this main stream. This underground movement of the water is known as your ground flow movement, or it is also known as your subsurface flow. Okay, it is also known as your subsurface flow. Okay, now in this way your movement of water can take place. Okay, now here I have shown that once it join the adjoining stream, okay, so this water ultimately, under the action of this solar radiation, this water gets evaporated again, and this evaporation take place over a large water bodies. That large water body can be my river, can be my ocean, or can be my sea, or it can be your pond or a small lake. Okay, whatever be the source of water collection. From there, the water evaporated under the intense solar radiation, and that evaporation changes my water into the vapor phase, and this vapor phase then certainly rises over the atmosphere and lead to the formation of your cloud. Okay, and not only this evaporation which is taking place from my large water bodies, but also the transpiration also taking place from the vegetation. So here I have shown the different trees over the land surface, and from these trees, the leaf of these trees will be the source of water, and this water loss will take place through the stomata, through the stomatal cavity. And this loss of water from the leaves of the different vegetation is known as your transpiration. So transpiration is also one of the form of loss of water, but this loss takes place from your plant bodies. And in the plant bodies, this loss is specifically from the leaves, because it is the leaf which are the source of your stomata, and through the stomata, the cavities, the small minor cavities of very small size, this water loss take place. Okay, so in this way, this vapor phase of the water ultimately lead to the cloud formation. Okay, this ultimately lead to your cloud formation, and this cloud formation, after formation of the cloud, this cloud will be in the motion in a random direction depending on the geographical location as well as your wind blowing direction. And whenever the certain condition occur, or when there is a low pressure or when there is sudden cooling, then ultimately this cloud will again causes your precipitation, and that precipitation can be in the many form, and this your water cycle complete itself in such a manner. And this cycle again go on, that this falling water will have option of running over the surface or going under the ground and ultimately join the large water bodies. From the large water bodies, again the evaporation take place, as well as the transpiration will also take place from the vegetation cover, and these water vapors again lead to the formation of cloud. Then the cloud again go back to the different location depending on the wind motion as well as your geographical location. Then this cloud formation under the condition, under the condition of low atmospheric pressure or the intense cooling again lead to the precipitation, and this precipitation again come back to the surface of earth, and this cycle goes on repeating. Okay, so this is all about brief about the hydrological cycle. Okay, now I'm going to dictate whatever I have orally dictate you. So I have written a few points regarding the hydrological cycle. Okay, so first is your water cycle, also called hydrological cycle, that involve the continuous circulation of water in the earth atmosphere system. So what is this hydrological cycle? This hydrological cycle involves the continuous circulation of water. This is basically, the cycle is basically the changing state of your water. Your water, this simply represent the journey, how the water journey started from the evaporation and how this end in the form of precipitation. Okay, so it's all about the circulation of water in one form or other, and that too in the your earth atmosphere, either over the surface or in your earth atmosphere. Okay, then second point I have written that of many processes involved in the water cycle, the most important are the evaporation, transpiration, condensation, precipitation and runoff. Okay, out of many different processes that is taking place in your hydrological cycle, mainly these five processes, that is evaporation, transpiration, condensation, precipitation and the runoff, are important. Okay, now the third point I have written that although the total amount of water within the cycle remains essentially constant, its distribution among various processes is continually changing. Okay, so earlier I have also said that the total quantity of water that is present in your particular system over which your hydrological cycle you are studying, that total quantity of water will remain same, only its state is changing from one form to another. Okay, so earlier that water may be in the form of groundwater bodies, then again a few portion of the the surface water body, a few portion of your surface water body may get evaporated and changes to the vapor state. That vapor state again lead to the formation of cloud, and on the precipitation, this cloud, this vapor phase water again come back to the surface of earth in the form of rain droplets. So only the changing state of water is taking place, rest of the total quantity of water remains same and it will remain unchanged. Okay, so the total quantity of water within the cycle remains essentially constant, its distribution among the various process changes continually. Okay, so this is all about the hydrological cycle. Okay, so from the next topic we will study the different process which is involved in your hydrological cycle. Mainly that process are very important, and we will discuss very brief about the different process in our hydrological cycle. Okay.